Parshas Truma. And it says, Vaydaber Hashem Moshe Lemor, our traditional introduction. Hashem tells Moshe the following, that he should tell the Jewish people this. Daber b'nei Yisrael, tell the Jewish people, V'yichu mi truma me'ez kol ish. You should take from me truma from each person. So the first thing that they raise is that it's a funny expression. It should be that it should be that each person gives me truma. Right? Each person should give it. Here it doesn't say this. It says kach. Kach means to take. You take truma from each person. Asher yidamu libo, whose heart desires, tichu es trumasi, take my truma. So the commentaries are saying that the reason that it seems to be, instead of somebody like normally what a person would give charity, you don't take charity. Right? In other words, I don't come and put a gun to your head and say, give me charity. I don't take it from you. You give it free will. Right? And it says, take it for me, everyone whose heart chooses to give it. So how can it be that you have it in such a way? So from here, the commentaries tell us that we need to understand that the calf does more for the cow than the cow for the calf. That is to say, the cow milk, gives milk to the calf. But if the calf wasn't there to take the milk, the cow would be in pain. Right? So here's the same idea, that when you have a poor person, the poor person needs money to buy food. They'll starve. Right? So you'd say, well, when the rich person gives the poor person money to buy food, the rich person's doing a favor for the poor person. So for the reason that the words here are reversed, it's coming to tell you that the poor person does more for the wealthy person than the wealthy person does for the poor. While the wealthy person gives the poor person food, right, money for food, right, the poor person gives the wealthy person eternity. Because they not only do they have merit for the world to come, but it also affects their personality. But to be a giver is really the basis of this world. To be a taker is not such a good thing. Now there's a whole series of lectures on this topic of the idea of being a giver or a taker, and that you have, for instance, let's say you have a marriage. So if you have a marriage and both people in the marriage are takers, the marriage won't last because both people are taking from each other, but no one's giving. If you have a marriage that one is a giver and one is a taker, the marriage will last, but sooner or later it'll fall apart because the giver will keep giving until they're exhausted, and the taker is unending. When you take, you just continually take. There is no ending to it. So then eventually they get to the point where the giver runs out of things to give, right? Of their time, their emotion, their heart, their feelings, and anything physical. But the taker keeps wanting it. So their marriage will dissolve. What has to be is that both of them are givers. And if you have two people in a marriage, two people in a business, two people on the street who are givers, then it will work. Because what eventually happens is that if you have a giver, when the giver takes, they're really giving. So we have an example here. But the best example is like when my kids would come home, like from school, when they're like 8 years old, and they'd make, for Father's Day, an ashtray. Right? Besides the fact the ashtray would be crooked, and it would be funny looking, and it would be wrapped up in a piece of newspaper, and all, crooked and so forth. And I don't smoke, right? I don't know anybody who smokes. But nevertheless, right, what happens, you take this ashtray and you open it up and you make a big deal out of it. And it is a big deal. I'm not saying you fake it, but you make a big deal out of it. So what are you really doing? You're really giving self-confidence to the child. You're taking an ashtray, but who's getting more? Are you getting more when you get the ashtray, or is the child getting more by your taking it with such noise and appreciation, right? So the one who's the child is really getting much more. So here you see an example of I'm taking an ashtray, but I'm really giving. He's giving an ashtray. We're both givers, right? And that's how it works. That a lot of times we have to learn how to be appropriate givers when we take. And you see this in many different ways. And it's very important that if we're givers in everything we do, then we will be able to have a much better life. Because a giver knows how to take as an act of giving as well. So that no matter what your situation is, So you could be simply having a conversation with a friend or a spouse, and you're having a conversation, and you see that they're getting upset about something, and so you let them get upset, and you help them, and they talk it through. They feel better, and you can say, like, "What are you getting upset with me for? I didn't do anything." Right? That's a taker. I'm not taking this from you. Right? A giver would let them. You see what's going on. You let them work it through. Help them, so they'll feel better, and you'll feel better. You end up so that they give and you give. And that's really the basis of all human interaction, right? What we call social intercourse. Between two people, many people, groups of people, if everyone is a giver, then everyone gets much more. And it's just a frame of mind, right? Because if you have a taker, even if a taker gives, they're really taking. Right? And when you say, there's no such thing as a free lunch. Like, let's say, whenever I go on a vacation, you always have these people accost you. You can go to Las Vegas and they want to sell you condos, and you go to a resort and they want to sell you timeshares, right? And they're all real nice, right? But they all have an ulterior motive, right? It's a known ulterior motive, but it's an ulterior motive. You know that whatever they give you, they really want to take much more, or they may be taking much more. Right? When somebody acts like that, those are takers. And takers, right, will only give if they expect to get more back. So if you're in a relationship, even in a marriage, and a person is a taker, so they'll take whatever you give them. But even when they give to you, they're giving you a small amount of something in order because they expect they're going to get something larger back. Right? You see, it's obvious with a child, because children haven't learned to be subtle. So, if your child wants something, you see that they act differently, right? And it's obvious that they want something, right? And even when they get older, it's obvious. You get a call from one of your kids, right? And they don't usually call you on a Tuesday, and they're calling you, and you say, "Oh, I'm just calling to say hi." Oh, and then you say, "What's going on?" Yeah, well, by the way, I'm having some real problems. I've got to pay this bill. Any chance you might be able to send me a couple of dollars, right? So what was the purpose of the call? So if they're takers, right, then the purpose of the call was really the money. It doesn't mean they don't want to talk to you or they don't care for you. All of it is probably true. But that's what a taker does. A taker wouldn't think of calling you unless they would get something. A giver would call you just because they know that you enjoy speaking to them. And they might even take something from you because they know that you enjoy giving it. Right? That's really the difference. And we feel it ourselves when someone does that to us. It's just that when it's people we care about, we pretend not to notice it. But we can feel it ourselves. And that's what it's talking about here. That if we have a world full of givers, where everybody gives, and that everything you do is an act of giving, then everybody gets. That's what happens. Right? I say sometimes when it comes to intimacy, you can see this. When it's intimacy, right? In the world they talk about how intimacy is dirty. That it's something that it's a dirty thing. And what I believe is it's dirty if you're a taker. If my interest in another person is what I'm going to get out of it, how good I'm going to feel, then that's dirty, because I'm only care about me. I don't care about you. But if I'm involved in a relationship with intimacy, then I'm giving to my partner, and my partner is giving to me. We're both receiving. But that's the difference between love and, let's say, sex. That's the difference. Right? An act of love is physically the same thing as an act of sex. But an act of love is the people who are doing it are giving to each other. I want to do this for my partner in a way that nobody else can. And an act of sex is, I want to feel good. I mean, that's why when you have prostitution, I don't care about her, I pay her. Right? That's dirty.
Is the red light blinking on this
camera? That's already lowering.
Yes, okay, that's a good sign. Believe it or not, red light blinking is good.
So it can be physical activity,
afternoon, and welcome.
Intellectual abilities, it can be in conversation, it can be in every part of our life. But as long as we are givers, then we will get, but everything is different. And we find over and over and over again that giving is really one of the fundamental ideas.
Good afternoon, and welcome.
That we should live our lives as givers in everything we do, and you'll never lose out. You'll always take back. It doesn't mean you have to be foolish, and you give everything away, right? Like it says in the Torah that you have to give tzedakah. You have to give 10% of your money to tzedakah. But most people don't know that there's also in the prophets a curse to a person who gives too much money. What is too much money? It's not necessarily a percentage. It means that, for instance, let's say, Mr. X is a very wealthy person. He's got millions of dollars in holdings. And his income this year is $1 million. So he has to give 10%, $100,000 he has to give to charity. Could he give $1 million? Sure. He's got $100 million of holdings. He can give all his salary away, right? So if he would give away 10%, he fulfills the mitzvah. What if he wants to give 15%? He'd be allowed to, because it doesn't affect his life. It won't affect him. He's got $100 million in the bank. So what if he gives an extra $50,000 to charity? It has no effect on him, his wife, his kids, nobody, right? But if the man's making $100,000 a year and he has to give $10,000 to charity, and he, for whatever reason, is moved by someone, and he wants to give $50,000 away, so now what's going to happen is that his whole family is going to feel it. He won't be able to pay bills. He won't be able to do this or do that. He says, but I did a mitzvah. Look at it, I gave $50,000 and I helped the poor. Right? But you did it to a point where God is saying, I'm giving you this $100,000 a year. This is what I allocate to you. Now, in that $100,000 a year, I'm allocating $10,000 for you to give to that person. And that person just needs it. Right? And that's how I'm getting the money to him, is through you. But you need $90,000. If you give away 30 of that 90, right, so now you're giving away $40,000, you won't have what you need. So the prophet tells us from God that you'll be cursed, that you will lose that money. So you think you can live on 60? You're going to get 60. Right? Just like we say the opposite way. When it says that when God gives you $100,000 and you give $10,000 of charity, it doesn't make it easy. They say you make $500,000, right? I'm not saying that you need to live on. You make enough money that you have more than you need to live on. If you make $500,000, you have to get $50,000 to charity. Right? So you do that. You can live on the rest of the money, right? It's possible with no problem and have extra money, and you can give more. But to do it to the point where it affects you in a negative way means that you're saying that God was wrong. It's our way of saying, well, God gave me too much. He shouldn't have given me so much. But no, he knows you need a certain amount. And we know that when you give, it says that when God gives you money and you give a portion of charity, then he rewards you by giving you more money so that you can give more to charity. Right? The same thing happens in reverse. If you overdo it, then it takes into account that you're saying I'm giving you too much, then you'll get less. Right? And it works both ways. But it's only if the giving of the extra money has a negative effect on your family, not if it just uses some of your holdings. That's not a problem. So this idea of, if you look in this first Rashi here, he says, but you could be TERUMAH, you should take TERUMAH. TERUMAH means charitable, charity. And God is saying that the portion of what everybody has, I want you to give back.
What they have is a document that reported what had been decreed at the time.
We're going to offer sacrifices. Someone's got to pay for the cow. Someone's got to pay for the ochre. Someone's got to pay for the electricity. Right? Whatever it is, you got to pay for it. That's done through this TERUMAH. Right? But Rashi says, he adds two words which seem to be funny. He says, Ve'ikuli TERUMAH, take from me TERUMAH. And then Rashi's bothered by it. Something's wrong with these words there. And he answers the problem by saying, Lishmi, take the TERUMAH for me in my name.
The original is gone.
We
don't have the original, and they don't
either. That says, take
what they have is
why does he have to say for me in my name?
At the time.
Well, who else are you taking?
And you know the way it works.
Rashi is explaining this because it's bothering him. Because everything is God's. Right? If you have a child, or you create an idea, or you build something, it's yours. It's your child, it's your idea, it's your object. Right? God created everything. So it's all his. So when God gives me $100,000 a year to live on, it's his money. He's just giving it to me, right? But it's God's. I'm God's. So of course, right, the money is God's. So how could it be that God says, okay, I'm going to give you $100,000. I want you to give me back 10%. Right? It's all his anyways. all 100,000 is his. He has a true ownership of it. So when it says, "Vayichu li truma," right, to me for my sake, God is saying, I'm giving human beings the ability to have ownership. That you feel it. We do it with our children, right? When we give them allowance,
of what went
good allowance.
That's the idea. There is evidence to support.
You support your children. My part of supporting them is giving them the ability to buy some things that they might want that you don't think of. They walk home from school, they want an ice cream, so they have $1. They buy an ice cream. They want to get a Coke, they have $1. Right? Whatever, if they, so you give them a few dollars, so they shouldn't walk around with no money in their pocket, right? So why do you get?
There is evidence to support this in our text as well. Because if you look at the wording,
is that you're telling
at the end of sentence 2,
you have the right of ownership.
it says the things here the Gichrona.
And everything you have is mine.
In
but I'm
this
going to give you
scroll, but they found,
I won't tell you what to do with it.
Here is a memory of it.
Because you're teaching your child
of it.
to take responsibility
it's not
the
original.
How to deal with money.
Now Malbim
on that money. Right,
has
so
a lot
realize what it's worth.
He says,
so that they don't come and ask you for $1,000.
I know what happened to this document. I know why they don't have the original.
Yeah, they have to be reasonable.
Come on.
So they understand how money works.
Something like that lying around that says
so
Jews are allowed to build a temple.
God's giving us the ability
source number 7.
You feel that you own this money. You worked for it, it's yours.
Of what went on.
Now, I want you to give some back. That's not so easy for people. It isn't. Like, I have a friend who has a business where his business is that he helps you with government grants. So he'll come in and he'll say, look, there's a grant, and I'll tell you about the grant, and you can do it yourself.
That's the idea. There is evidence to support this in our text as well. Because if you look at the wording,
that your organization pays
at the end of sentence 2,
to the provincial government, you're going to get
it says the thanks to
all you got to do is fill out
Gichrona.
Right?
And so
you have to do an accounting. Send it into them. That's all you got to do. You want to do it yourself? No. It's crazy. So the guy says, okay, I'll do it for you. I told you about the grant. I'll come in, I'll do it for you. I'll go through your books for you. I'll fill out all the forms, and I'll send them in. You'll get a check. And here's what I want. You give me half of that check, and then every year from now on, you'll automatically get money. I get none of it. Every year the government will send you money because you've already filled out the forms. But the first year you'll get extra money because it goes back a few years. I'll take half of that, and you get the rest. So everybody says, why not? The other half is found money. I wasn't going to get it anyway. So if I want to get $10,000 back, I'll give him 5. I'll take 5 next year. So maybe I'll only get 3.
And discuss this assistance he gives for the building of a temple. And yes,
of course. What do I got to lose? If I say no, I get nothing.
So there's
this way, I'll get
much
$5,000 this year, right? So he tells me, without fail, so many of the institutions, when they get the money, they want to renegotiate. No, $5,000. We only got 10. You want half my money? Yeah, that was our agreement. You would have no money if it wasn't for me. Now you got a gift of $5,000, and I get $5,000 from my effort. Right? And then next year you get a gift of $3,000, and I get nothing. Right? But nevertheless, he says so many times he has to argue with people, right? Because now that they got the money, it's different. It's like with the lawyers who do the work on spec, where you hear them on the radio all the time. Somebody gets into a car accident, and you sue the other person, right? And you'll get, you'll go through court and you'll get $30,000, and the lawyer gets 30%. So everyone says, look, I'm getting $25,000. I wouldn't get it anyways. Yeah, the lawyer's going to take 10. So what? As soon as you get the money, the lawyers have to fight with you to get the money. So what the lawyers do now is they make it, the money goes to them, and they give you as well, right? Because they have to, that's the law. But you, on the other hand, can make their life miserable that they'll have to sue you to get their money. But when they first come to you, you say, yeah, of course, you should have a third. I get 2/3. I don't have to do anything. Right? But it happens every time. So this is where we learn the lesson of keeping your word, paying your bills, realizing that when God gives you money, it's still from God. Yes, He wants you to feel an ownership. He wants you to administrate it. But now I want something back from you. You should give it to me because it's for the better. It's for the greater good. Right? But it does just like we do with our kids. So Rashi says, that's why he says, for me, in my name, God says, give it back to me. But it's all yours. No? The 90,000 is yours. Just give me the 10. That's not so simple. So that's why Rashi says it this way. Now, the next thing it tells us is very interesting. It says, what does God want? Like, what is he asking for? So it says here, Zos HaTerumah, this is the charity, right? The objects that I want. That I'll take from you. And here you have a very interesting list of precious items: zahav, gold, kesef, silver, nechoshes is bronze, copper. Techeles, cheles is this beautiful purple-blue dye. Now you're supposed to wear them in your tzitzis, right? But it's the color of royalty. So if you look in the English, turquoise, purple and scarlet wool, linen and goat hair, red dyed ram skins, tachash skins, acacia wood, oil for illumination, spices for anointment, oil, and the aromatic incense. So if you stop there, you'll see, if you look at this a few times, is that it's a hierarchy. It starts with the most precious and it goes to the least. Gold, silver, copper, right? We know gold is worth more than silver, silver more than copper, copper more than turquoise, right? More than wool, wool more than linen. In the old days, linen was cheaper. Linen more than goat hair more than the skin of a ram or of a worm. That's worth more than a piece of wood, and a piece of wood is worth more than oil. Oil is worth more than spices. Spices are worth more than incense. So it's a hierarchy going down. But I stopped in the middle of the sentence. Then it says, Shoham, stones and stones for the settings for the ephod and the breastplate. These are jewels. These stones are rubies, sapphires, right? These are precious and semi-precious stones, right? So they're out of order. Gold, silver, copper, going all the way down to oil, and then it says diamonds, rubies, and sapphires. It should say diamonds, gold, rubies, sapphires, silver, right? And that, because you see, it's clearly going in the order of worth. But then at the end, it sort of jumps up, right? It's either that or the Torah thinks that diamonds, rubies, and sapphires are worth less than incense. Clearly, they don't. So why is it confusing like that? It seems to be the most expensive, little less, most expensive. So that's because we're looking at this wrong. We're looking at this by what we would call the intrinsic value of the object. Gold by the gram is worth more than silver by the gram. Right? Gold by the gram is certainly worth more than oil or spices. Right? It looks that right? When it comes to the physical worth. But here's something that we have to add. When the Jews were in the desert, God is coming to them and saying, I want all these things. So they had gold and silver because they got it from Egypt. They had all the other things that they got from Egypt. What they didn't get from Egypt were the stones. All these stones. These stones they didn't have. The Egyptians didn't have diamonds and rubies to give them. They didn't have. So it says that when God wanted them, so the people wanted to give. And the people gave everything. Like they gave, this was a building fund they had extra. They had leftover. People really opened their hearts. They just came out of Egypt. Right? They had all this money, the new money that they got. They gave. In the end, they didn't have any diamonds or rubies, or they didn't actually ask for diamonds, but for rubies and sapphires, they didn't have it. So it says that because they wanted to give it, God made a miracle, and these clouds came, and they sort of rained the jewels, and the people were able to give the jewels. So, good afternoon. What is it telling you then? What it's telling you is that God is not saying this in order of the intrinsic value. He's talking about the amount of effort it takes you to give it. But if I would come to you and say, listen, can you give me $5? You wouldn't even ask me what it's for. You give me $5. If I said, can you give me $200? You'd say, what? What do you want $200? Right? My son comes to me, I'm going out, can I have $20? No, okay, I'll give him $20. Says, I'm going out, can I have $300? $300? Where are you going? New York? What are you doing with $300? Right? So here, right, they ask for gold and silver. People are not going to be giving up so quick, right? It means something to them. So God's saying, based on your effort and your feelings, this is hard to give. But they got these stones for free. There was no effort put into the stones. They didn't work to get the stones. The stones were given to them. Therefore, God's saying, I'm not just asking you for the object because of its worth. I want you to work on your personality. I want you to be a giver. I want you to change who you are. So the hardest thing for you to give is something you worked for that's worth a lot. That's gold. You worked for that. Right? You worked as a slave. So that's hard for you to give up. Even incense, you worked for it. That's harder for you to give up than a ruby that you just found. That's, to you, it might have a real worth, but you, it doesn't have so much worth because you just found it. So he's saying when it comes to givings, God is not as much interested in how much you give. It says how hard is it for you to give? How much effort is there in your giving? How much are you giving up to give it? In the case of the stones, they're giving up nothing because they got it for nothing. But the other objects, they were giving up something because they worked for it. So that's the important thing. What the Torah is telling us, it's not how much you give, is that how much you feel it, how much it affects you, right? So if for one person, like I say that sometimes when people come to me and they want to raise money and they'll ask me, do you have any connections? So I'll say, if you go to this guy, he'll give you $500. I would think that's how he says no. In other words, he's wealthy enough and he's a big enough giver that he might not be interested in your cause, but he'll give you $500 just because you asked him. Because for him, that's not money. It's money, but it doesn't take a lot of effort. Another guy, you go to that guy and you ask him $500. Just say $500. I've never given $500 to anyone in my life. I don't have that kind of money. I can give you $50, right? And that $50 will affect him more than the $500 from the rich guy who is just saying no. Even the $5,000 from the rich guy. This $50 is harder. So God is saying that's how we judge. We don't judge on it because I'm giving them the money. We judge on how much effort you put into it, how much care you put into it, how much it affects you, and you gave it anyways. That's what it's worth. Right? So he's saying that the jewels, there was no effort. They're not worth as much that way. Are they financially worth? Yeah, they're financially worth more than gold. A big ruby is worth more than maybe copper or bronze. So certainly that you should, you give that, it has a worth. But if you didn't work for it, it doesn't mean anything to you. Now you see it sometimes with people who they win the lottery or they inherit a lot of money. Money becomes almost useless to them, right? Almost because they didn't work for it. They're different. They don't have they woke up one day and they got $1 million or $100 million. And look what happens to other people, right? You always hear these stories of guys who win the lottery and it ruins their lives, right? Because they don't know what to do with it. They didn't work for it. They didn't build on it. It has suddenly everything changed.
He documented that reported what had been decreed at the time.
Right, that's what God's asking us for. He then says the last line on 445 is a little bit easier to understand in the Hebrew. It says, "V'yasu li mikdash," make for me a mikdash, like a Beit HaMikdash, right? Which is the temple. Make for me a temple, v'shechanti b'socha, and I will live in it. Right? In other words, God says, make a place for me, and when you want to come and talk to me, I'll be there. Yes, I'm everywhere. I'm with you wherever you are. But if you want a special place, like we have a shul, you want a special place when you're in trouble and somebody's not well, you're having a problem, go to the shul and pray. Right? People do that throughout history. That's what they did. Even if nobody else was in shul, they went to shul and prayed. That's where God is. Is God in your house? Yeah, God's in your house. God's with you anyway. God's with you everywhere. But we have a feeling, right? So God's saying, make for me a temple, I'll be there. I'll go there and you can come. But I purposely didn't translate it right, because there's a grammatical problem with the sentence. It says, "V'yasu li mikdash," make for me a temple. Okay, that's fine. Then it says, "V'shechanti b'socha," and there it says, "I will live within you." It doesn't say, "I will live," right, in it. It would be "V'shechanti b'socha," I will live in it. It says, "I will live in you." Make for me a temple, and I'll live in you. That's literally what it's translated. That's on a simple level. It means make a temple. I'll be in the temple. You come there, and I'll be there for you, right? On a deeper level, it means make yourself a temple. Make me. Because the word for temple, mikdash, holy, from kodesh, mikdash, means the mend is modifying the word kodesh. Holy
is a document that reported what happened to me
of holiness.
That's the idea.
So make yourself a place of holiness, and I will dwell within you. That is, God is saying, you, each one of us, have the ability to be holy, to be special, to be examples of spirituality in the physical world. And if you work on doing that, I will be there with you. I'll be in you. I will be there with you. And that's an amazing statement, right? That God is with you. God is a part of you. You become God-like. Right? For instance, you hear stories about great rabbis who do miracles. Really, the rabbis aren't doing miracles. Really, what it is that these people become close to God. And then when they ask God for something, he responds. So let's say, I remember reading a story about Moshe Feinstein. He was a great rabbi. He died in the mid-1980s. I had the pleasure to speak with him a number of times. And Rabbi Feinstein says that people, would come to him to pray for somebody who was sick. Right? So he doesn't know the people. He doesn't know the sick person. Right? But they'd come and they'd meet with him privately, and they'd say, my mother's not well, my grandmother, my aunt, my brother, whatever, not well. Would you pray for them? He says, of course, a Jew helps another Jew. I'll pray for them. What's their name? He tells them. So why does that work? Right? How does that work? That you pray for someone, you don't even know who they are. How's that going to help that person? So the idea is as follows. For whatever reason it was that this person, in God's mind, this person needed to be sick. And the people who surrounded that person, it is just that they should feel the pain. For whatever reason, I can't tell you the reason, that Mr. X's mother has to be sick, and Mr. X has to feel the pain of his mother being sick, and do whatever he can to help her. So he goes to Rabbi Feinstein, doesn't know the woman, right? Has no idea who she is. And the guy comes and he's in tears, and he says, my mother's dying, my mother's sick, whatever it is. I want you, please, will you pray for her? So now what happens, Rabbi Feinstein cares about this guy. Right? Whoever this man is, he has a feeling. Another Jew, he feels for him. So now he's in pain because that woman's sick. So to speak, God looks down and says, look, it was just that she should be sick. It was just that her family should feel the pain. But this righteous man has nothing to do with them. He's feeling the pain too. That's not just. So God makes her better. Because he feels the pain. Rabbi Feinstein used to complain that people would come to him to pray for someone, but they never come back and tell him what happened. So he said, I could pray for somebody for a year, they'd be dead. I prayed for them for a year, they're better. I don't know. He said, they think I don't care. And I'm just doing it, it's just like a machine. You come, you ask me to pray, I pray. No, I care. I feel for them. I really feel it. But I want to know what happens. Did my prayers help? Did the person get better? How did they help? I want to know that. Right? And that's exactly what happens. And that's really when it says that Rabbi Feinstein became holy. God was with him. It's not that Rabbi Feinstein did the miracle and she got better because of him. No, God did the miracle. But God did the miracle because of the intervention of Rabbi Feinstein. You see this with graves. When people go with graves to pray. So people have the misunderstanding that I'm going to go to the grave of this famous rabbi. I'm going to pray to the rabbi to help me. I need to make a living, right? You can't do that. That's idol worship. Dead rabbis can't do anything for you. They're dead. Only God can help you. So then why do we go to the grave? So we go to the grave and we say to God, in the merit of this person who is so close to you, I'm inspired by the life of this person. But please, God, from the merit of this person, make my X better, and I will be a better person. I'm inspired by this person. Right? So that's what we're doing. We're not saying, please, Rabbi so-and-so, make my mother better. They can't. They're dead. They can't do anything. Right? But the merit of that person, God can do it. And it's actually forbidden to go and pray like that. It's forbidden. It's like praying to an idol. You can't do that. You go there to be inspired. You go there and ask God to intervene using the merit of this person. Because you know that if that person was alive, they would want to help. So that's what we do. That merit of that person, that's what it means that God is close to them. I mean, it tells us, if you make your will my will, it says in the Ethics of Our Fathers, I will make my will your will. So God says that to us. If God says, if you make your will my will, you do what I shall tell you, follow the mitzvahs, make your, right, you do what I tell you to do, I will do what you need. You need me to help that person? I'm there. I'll do it. Because everything you want is what's good. Because you want what I want. So therefore, when you ask me for something, it's really what I want. I will do it. So that's what it means when God says that. And He does it. Yes?
I read that two rabbi was the story of someone who was becoming a rabbi. You know, the rabbi didn't know, they didn't know the mistake that I'm going through. And he said, I'm going to pray for you, but I want you to come and pray as well. Because with both our prayers, He starts whatever it is, you know, you have it as well.
Right.
And for this person to become religious, to do, and to also.
Right, and that's how it helps, sure. So now we're going on to some of the descriptions of the things that are going to be found within this temple that we're building. On 446 and 447, it starts out, it says, they shall make an ark. The ark is the ark, like we keep the Torah in, of acacia wood, 2.5 cubits its length, a cubit and a half its width, a cubit and a half its height. You shall cover it with pure gold from within and from without. Let's just stop there. First thing you notice that all of the sizes, the height, the width, and the depth, are all halves. And there's like it doesn't say 3 amas, or let's say 3 yards, 3 feet, 3 meters. It says 2.5, 2.5, 1.5, 2.5. Like God God's telling us, right? God could say anything He wants to say. He wants to say make it 8 by 8 by 8, and that's what it would be. For some reason, He's saying 2.5, 1.5, 2.5. Why is that? So He's illustrating here is that something that's and a half is incomplete. It's not full. It's not 3. It's 2.5. It's almost there. It's not there yet. And He's trying to show us by it not being a complete number that it only becomes complete by our involvement, by us working with it. Right? The Aron itself, the ark that holds the Torah, is a holy thing because God makes it that way, but it's only useful with human endeavor, with human involvement. And so it's showing you, just like it says, we had last week, we talked about the shekel. It said that the shekel, you have to donate half a shekel to the temple. Every Jew has to give half a shekel. You say, well, why half a shekel? Why did God invent a coin called a shekel, and then say you have to give half of one? Why didn't you just invent a shekel and say, and make the shekel worth half as much, and say, give a shekel? Right? Why half a shekel? Right? In other words, like it's a funny thing that He creates the currency, and then the first currency is half of it, right? That we all have to give. The answer is because no Jew is complete themselves. You have to join with other Jews, and you become complete. So 2 Jews make a whole shekel, and therefore you become whole. It's the same idea here, that the Aron itself is not complete until you bring together the people with it. That makes it complete. The next interesting thing about it is it says you should cover it with gold on the outside and the inside. That's what we call gold-plated. There's gold-plated on the outside and there's gold-plated on the inside, right? Like usually you buy a piece of jewelry, it's gold-plated on the outside because there is no inside. But here you have a box. The box is gold on the outside. So anywhere you look at it, it's gold. But it isn't. It's got wood in the middle. So from this, the Talmud says that there was an argument among 2 rabbis as to what their students should be like. So one of the rabbis said the students should be like the other, which is they should be the same on the inside as the outside. In other words, you want to look like a religious person, right? It's not enough to dress like a religious person. It has to be inside too. You have to feel it. You have to be that way. You can't just walk around wearing a black suit and a white shirt if that's your what you think a religious person wears, and on the inside you're corrupt. You have to be inside just as holy as on the outside. Just like the gold is on the inside, it's the same on the outside. Right? Inside and out. It says, tohu kabaro. Your inside is like your outside. And that's you shouldn't. Right? You shouldn't be hypocritical in how you are. You should be the same person, both how you look, and it works in the reverse too. If you're an observant person, you should dress with dignity. Right? I see this all the time when I talk to people. Part of how we dress, of how we are as people, and the way that we look, that we go out of our way to dress nicely, is because we're representatives of God in the world. And therefore, if you don't dress with dignity, then you're not dignified. But today it's hard to tell. It used to be you could tell a person's social. But then and already you could have people who are wearing the jeans and t-shirts. Not only does it cost $1,000, they look like they're wearing something for something. They don't have suits or ties or shirts. Why? Because today, people look to be many people are not looking to be bigger. The source says you have to dress for people. So you're outside, you have to show people. If you're inside with your person, you have to show it. Not to do the other way around, which is the kind that I want to act in public in certain ways. If you are inside, you have to show it. So, like, I always tell people, they ask me, I get them already. And I say, I dress the way that I believe makes people stop. Which is in a way that shows the good way of the people. So that when people see me, they're not just seeing me, they're seeing my position. My position requires that I dress for the certain. And even if I might like to look around and I can't do it. If it doesn't portray the dignity of my position, in my case, my job is every day of the week. I like other people to the fire. It's not your own. It's just not a job. So, and I feel that every school should dress with the dignity of who you are. I don't mean you might think you're not. At the very least, you are carrying the of who you are. And therefore, there's a certain thing. I'm not saying that people to wear money shots or whatever. I'm saying that people should dress within their means in a way that is not about belief. That's outside of your intention. That's what that argument was in the company. The rabbi was saying that my students, in order to be a student side, you're outside of inside of the student side. The other rabbi said, no. My job is to make them that way. When they come to me, they don't have to do that. When they come to me, they have to be students. My job is to make them understand. This is what I try to talk about today. A lot of times you'll find schools that they have one purpose, which is to show you up. You do something they don't like, they show you up. Well, why? Because they want to make sure the school has the students are influenced that way with the school has a good reputation. That's sad. That's not what we do. Instead of really, I mean, I'm sure there's trying. But it shouldn't be the only or the first thing that you do. The idea is, a student comes to the school, day school, yeshiva, whatever it is, it's the school's job to take the potential of that student and redirect it so that they act correctly. Not that they walk into the school already acting. They should walk into the school. Your perfect student is one who walks into the school wanting. Sometimes they don't. You want them. If they want to act correctly, then I got to work. So that's the idea. The other opinion is that I will bring them to the point where they're inside of the house. That was the argument between the assumption of this quote here. The next thing is it's not right here yet. But if we look at the next page, we have these entities, which are very high, 440 and 449. They're called Kerumaah. Kerumaah, if you look truly, there's actually a picture of what they think it is like, on the bottom of 447. Which was babies, basically, they were supposed to look like infants, like babies, with wings. And there were two of them on top of the ark. And it says that they were miraculous, that they were made out of gold, that it had God's command. And that it says that when the Jewish people and God were happy with each other, and it was going well, the two would be embracing. And when they weren't going well, they would reverse and take away from each other. And that this was a sign to the Jews to know how they were doing. Are we well? Not well. How's our relationship with God? The way it's described, it means that they were intertwined. This is an example where the Torah speaks stuff and subtlety and in many of the commentaries understand that it means that they were embraced. And the two that were embraced was if they were in a relationship with a fellow intimacy. If the two of them together as close as a husband and wife. And then when things weren't good, they became now, the word sharut is the same as the Hebrew word cat. Right? The Hebrew word cat is sharut. Because baby, I'm just a cat. It has like wrinkly and little. So there is definitely a similarity. That's not why this is here. It is showing the Hebrew words on root words. And root words can be used in all different ways. There's always a constant out. There is this is maybe it's also a lot of use of that in German in particular. We're born under a cabbage. And the cabbage so I know here they say scorn. Yeah. Maybe because they don't have scorns. Oh, what is this? So that's whatever it means that perhaps there says that there's wisdom among the nations. Maybe the nations understood it. In any case, it's an odd thing because we would think this is an idol. We're putting an idol right in the temple. We're still infants. So here we understand that. Of course, you don't pray. There's no prayers. They have no power in themselves. They are manifestations of God's will. God wants that they should be able to show us something. We also have another place later on. There's a symbol that when the Holy Mother would go into the picture and pray for the Jews to forgive them, there was a red string that came. And if God forgave the Jews, the string would turn red. So, did the string have power? No. It wasn't the string doing it. God did it. But the string was the manifestation of God's desire for us to know if we were forgiven. So he would take the red string and it would turn white. Here also, God put this there as a symbol for us to understand our relationship. Not because they had any power, that there was anything about them that was supernatural. Not at all. There was only one power in the world, that's God. Everything else is simply God's will as to how he exists. And that's what they were. I'll get ahead of it because we're on that last night. I don't want to miss the menorah is made in the fire. And the menorah, of course, is, we all know, it's an extraordinary part of the temple. So, there's a menorah, picture of the menorah. So, if you look at it, in the Hebrew it says, you should make a menorah out of pure gold. And then it goes on to describe it. And then, when it gets to the point where Moshe has to make it, the wording is a bit funny. Because it says that he made the menorah. I'll just say it for you. Instead of saying that Moshe made the menorah, it says menorah is this. And the commentaries ask, why is this such a funny grammatical tense? It's like a passive tense. The menorah was made rather than he made the menorah. This was passive. And he says because there's a medrash that says that when God told Moses to make the menorah, he didn't understand it. He never saw something. So he said, so he goes to try to understand it, and he tells God that I'm supposed to understand. So God says, let's take a piece of the wood. And so he did. God made a menorah. So Moses didn't make the menorah. This was made. It was God that caused it. So then we have to have a question. If God made it, so God knows everything. God knew Moshe to do it. Why did he give him this whole description of what to do? When he knows enough Moshe to do it. And in the end, God's going to do it. God's just going to take your piece of gold and throw it in the fire, and I'll do it. So why tell him this way, this way, and this way, and this way, and this way, and this way, it goes, and you beat it this way, and you beat the gold this way, and now you got to do it. God knows everything. God knows Moshe doesn't know what it is. God knows Moshe is not going to make it. He knows he's got no consequences. So in the end, God does it. Why doesn't he just do it? Why go through all that? Make all this still silly. You know, it's like I would go to a 10-year-old and tell him to build an internal combustion engine. Like he drives my car. You know what the word means. Right? What is it? What's an internal combustion engine? What's an engine? The kids are not going to know. Moses, what's a menorah? What does it mean? This. I don't know what you're talking about. What is it? So that's okay. It makes sense. So why? Why do you just do it? Take the time. The point is following. That the human being often and God will tell us to do something. We think we can do it. But God wants us to be true. We put it in the happen. And then God will do it. So Moshe had to take the raw gold and throw it in the fire. That was the important act. That he had to say, I'm going to do whatever I can do to do what God asked me to do. This is what I can do, then that's what I'll do. As much as I can do, and God will do it. That teaches us that even when we do something, and we think it's us, it's God doing it. God is really doing this. We're working. We're creating a facade of this. We actually believe it. We're putting in the effort. But even when we don't think we can do it, God is there. And in the end, people do something that happens. Really, it's every children. Every family has children who are easier than every family has children who will go one path to another. And you have no reason to understand. How do I if I have 4 children, I raise them in the same house, I do the same thing with them, each one's a little different, so of course I have to cater a little bit different to each one. But basically they have the same lifestyle, the same way of being. So why does one of them become very, very ridiculous? One not at all ridiculous. One is too ridiculous. This one is very responsible. This one wastes his money all the time. This one is not, not interested in getting married. This one can't wait to get married. I understand they're different, but their environment is similar. We watch for the differences in personality, and then they come out so vastly different. Right? They're all different. They're all different things, right? Because they're all different. We're not good. I have a job to do to raise my children to the best of my ability, only the guidelines that God gives. The rest is up to God. What to do? And he gave me, if he gives me a child that is brilliant, it's my job to get that child to use it to the best of his ability. But I didn't make him brilliant. You can have another child with learning disability, right? And I have to work as hard as I did with the first one, just to get this one to get through school. That's not me. God gave me that. God is involved with it. And that's what he was with Moshe. Moshe is supposed to make him I don't know what it is. God said, you have to try. What do we have? I'll finish it. You finish it. He said the same idea about this putting of the Red Sea. When God tells them, they're standing there, and the Egyptians are coming, they're standing there, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? And the Egyptians, we're going to get killed. And God says, go to the sea. What do you need? He says, worship God. I can't, but suddenly I'm going to be able to breathe water. I'm going to die. So they're standing there, and Moses starts praying. God says, what are you praying? There's no time for prayer. Go in the water. So one fellow named Avram decides, I'm going to, God says, go, I go. He goes in, okay, he goes over his mouth. You see, doesn't split. And he gets to the point where his nose is covered, and he's going to die. When you go, when I deep into the saying, God told me to do this, here's what everything goes I'm doing it. There's no turning back. I can't breathe water. I'm at the point where I'm going to die, but God doesn't do it. But I know He's a good person. And everyone else will go there. But he had to put in the effort. God, when God told him to split the sea, couldn't you split the sea even before the Egyptians came? Couldn't you split the sea and not make the Egyptians come? He could have done all of it. But that lesson is necessary. That our effort is extremely important. That's what God did. It's not, God is not a bottom line person. And a bottom line person says, I don't care what it takes you, get it done. God's not. God is, I care what it takes. How much I care. How much you care. How much you care. That's what we have. You succeed, you don't succeed. That's not you. That's not a food. That's you. I'll make you succeed. I mean, why does one guy, like, you know, we're kids, that can't hold on. That's the best. So, there's certain things, especially people after the war. I mean, professionals are successful. And I could doctor the system. And a doctor, a lawyer, I think we should go to. But I'll tell you now, I'm 60 years old. I know doctors who are not successful. I know doctors who aren't making it. I know other doctors who are foolish. I know guys who didn't graduate high school who are not familiar. And guys who are not at the PhD. Because there's no guarantee. You can be a doctor and not make a difference. That's okay. That's what's happening. Because usually hard work is smart people become doctors. And that is one of the things God wants. Hard work is smart. But it's not a guarantee. The point is that the effort that we have to do is the result of that. That's what we put in. And that's what makes it good. You're like, all right, you can't make me more, so give up broken hands. If that's the smart way to do that, look, you got to do what you can. What can you do? You can melt the gold. Melt the gold. Melt the gold. That's what he's coming from. You don't put on the effort into your children. You put the effort into your marriage. You put the effort into your business. Let's take care of it. That's what that's what our parsha is saying. So this is an example of what we call 2 weeks of parshas that are very interesting. Right? We don't have stories. Moshe, Aaron, Rivka, Rothman, like we had before. I can show you, how they acted if I understand. This is a bit more esoteric. The temple, which is different one day. But if you understand that it's not really good, you have to go through a little bit under the skin, scratch it a little bit, and see how it speaks to us today, even though it doesn't even speak to us. Why would God put so many words in the Torah when we're the Torah is the guidebook for us? How is this a guidebook? How far the Lord has to be? When I darn me, we don't know where it is or what it is. We don't have to. That's no idea. Because it's people. And that's the amazing thing. But the Torah can be understood on countless levels because God is amazing depth. But there's all the stories now about the North being taken by Titus. Wherever we're going, you see the Archetypes. Right? The Archetypes shows the Romans taking to the North from the temple every day to Rome. So there's been a long-held belief by Jews that the Vatican has the North. Now the Vatican says it does. And some of the answers they give are pretty logical. Because they say, if we had it, there were times in history we would go. We would have melted it down the soil. The net 6 feet tall, pure gold. It's worth a lot of money. That's another one of them. They said we never had them free. Now, did they? Did they not? I'm not a contractor. Well, there's such a belief as well. But if you go there, you do see it looks like more being taken into Rome. Right? So there's many different understandings. Because first of all, more in the belief of the art is not exactly like the more identified. So, like for instance, it has a base that monkey cars up. So they'll say though that if the Romans added the things to the planet, or it could have been a different rule. Right? Yeah, there could have been many. They didn't necessarily take that, but we don't know. So now there actually recently was a seminar that was done with the first media in that. And the one thing that Vatican said was that we're going to show you. We're going to show you why it was going to be logical. And I don't know what happened. They had excluded between the history of that. Because if you ever have a chance to go to the that, there, we had an Orthodox Jewish with our theology, our history, it's like we actually come to this and a lot of Jewish history. And the Jewish Jews to further Christianity in the world. You know, everywhere you look, there's something else Jewish. And it's the Christian. Yeah, if you look at the Sistine Chapel, you look at the synagogue, anything that are not in the Bible. You don't have to find. So you have to find how did he get there's him. Because he did have an interaction with friends. So what do you think? Actually did it. And he was deep have a relationship with friends. He was and also the teaching. And I believe that the teaching was the teaching. And lots of the Jewish communities by the way teachers care. That's how new national banking was started by the Jews. And they were started by the Jews. So the Jews were all over the world. So you could tell that you go to a Jew and go to say, or say, here's 10,000 francs. I like it to go to my cousin, who was so a Jew, had a group of the Jews in place. You send a letter, give $10,000, never sent the money. He kept the money with, and then they would get together, and at the end of a year, they would exchange money back and forth, and everybody was equal. And the greatest international thing happened under the Jews, but it was because of the Jews that the Pope flew out. There's many. That's it, right? So I hope you'll see it.